All right, welcome back to As Told by You. Today we have a very special guest. Brad Valdes has joined us today. Thank you for being here. So one of the things that we love to do is just talk to entrepreneurs in the Columbia market about the things that they have going on, how they got to where they are today. And I found your story extremely fascinating because you own a few restaurants that pretty much everyone in the entire country has been in at some point in their life. McDonald's.
Oh, okay.
So
franchise.
You've seen the movie Founder.
Oh, yes.
But you're a franchisee of the McDonald's franchise. That's correct, right?
That is correct, yes. I don't know what the statistic is now, but I think maybe a few years ago, 1 out of 5 Americans had worked at a McDonald's at some point in their life.
Worked at a McDonald's.
Yes. Yeah.
So how did you get into that?
My father was a registered applicant in 1995, where he had to fill out an application and put it in. And he had a full-time job, and every night he got accepted into this application program. So every night when he got off of his 9 to 5, he would drive 2 hours away to another city to work at McDonald's all night to learn the program, to get accepted to get into the own one. So he was granted one in 1998 here in Columbia, South Carolina. And he had 3 McDonald's locations when I graduated from college in 2005. And then I went through the program myself and got my first restaurant when I was 25, I believe, in 2006. And, since then I've added 14 more locations. And so now my father still has his same 3, and I have 15. And my brother got in the business after me. He has 15 in the Charleston area.
Wow.
So it's very much a family affair.
33 McDonald's family owned.
Correct. Well, so McDonald's does not allow partnerships.
Right.
Only sold,
okay.
But yes, all together, that's right.
That's incredible. So do you guys work together in management of them, or?
Very much.
Hey, brothers, McDonald's is failing over there, but I'm not going to do anything about it.
The exact opposite.
Yeah.
That was certainly a key to growth and success, was being able to leverage each other's skill sets and help each other when it needed to be helped. We share resources, we share an office, we share our G&A. So we share everything that we can share to, have some synergy, except for the ownership, which McDonald's does not allow.
What do you think the driving force was for your dad to go that extra mile to pursue that first restaurant?
I think that he ran into what a lot of men my age now, I'm 43 now, I think he was 43. I think he was my age when he applied, and he had been laid off many times from various jobs. He would climb up the corporate ladder, get to a place, and then the company would get absorbed and he'd be without a job. And I think that just happened so many times, and our family moved around so many times, that what was most appealing to him was just to not have a boss anymore and to control his own destiny. So I always admired that, and I think that's why he did it.
So would you say you're from where? Are you from? You're not from Columbia. 98 is when you guys got here, right? So
yeah, I'm from Tampa, Florida originally.
Okay.
Half Cuban. My father's Cuban. I think that also helped when he was getting into the business. McDonald's didn't have a lot of Hispanic operators at that time. And so we moved to South Carolina for a job of his in 96. So I was about, 10 or 12. And then he got laid off from that job and got another job. We were in Greenville at that time. And then that's when the McDonald's process happened, and we moved from Greenville to Columbia. But I spent most of my time in Tampa. That's where I was born and raised.
Okay. Very cool.
Wow. What's funny is, as a business owner for a little while, I've always thought I should have bought a franchise.
Yes.
Yeah. Have you had that internal monologue?
I have. Yes, because I literally have tried to buy a franchise.
Oh yeah, see, I've never tried, but it's right up there. Yeah. I as we struggle to try to figure out what to do here, right, and develop our branding and develop our processes and develop all the stuff from absolute scratch, because nobody's ever done it before, I guess, or something. I don't know. I've always thought, man, I should have brought a franchise. I always thought Subway, and that's just what I was told my wife. Like, Subway. I think a Subway franchise is like $80 grand, and I'm like, I should have bought a Subway.
I'm a big fan of franchises. I always tell my wife, if McDonald's went under tomorrow, I'd just get a different one.
Yeah.
Whatever the franchise is, doesn't even have to be food. I'd
Right.
buy a Firestone. I just love the model of it.
I love a Firestone too. I'd rather because they just don't care about my car. They just like, I don't know, whatever. I'll fix your car. You know what I mean? Like there's no guy trying to convince me I should do something because he saw something last time or whatever. It's like, no, I come in for an oil change. They give me an oil change. I move on. It's a simple operation.
McDonald's sells convenience. They probably sell necessity. So that's more of a power position.
Right.
I could see that.
True. In some cases. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Well, I guess McDonald's is the gold standard franchise. Does that make sense?
I like to think so.
Yeah.
They do have the golden arches.
They do.
Wow. I guess that's where I got that from.
Not the golden arcs.
Yeah.
Golden arches. Yeah.
I have seen The Founder probably 3 times. I love that movie a lot. And I love the idea of building something and discovering something and the legacy and all of that kind of stuff. We also talk a lot on this podcast about legacy and about kids taking over for the parents. Do you see your kids moving into franchising? Or is that something that you foresee happening?
I mean, I would love it. My family is strangely, it's not intuitive, but I've been doing this, for over about 20 years now, and it's shocking to me how many children of owner-operators do not go into the business.
Right.
Really?
There's something going on, or there always has been, where the process that I went through to get a McDonald's, for lack of a better term, some people see as embarrassing or beneath them. My friends, when they graduated college, they all got jobs with a suit and tie, and I was in the drive-through,
So what is the process like?
So the process is you have to work in a McDonald's, you have to be a store manager for at least 2 years. And to get to store manager, you've got to go through the process. You've got to go through the front counter, the maintenance man, the kitchen guy, the grill cook, the whole process. And then you have to stay there and you have to run it. And you have to prove that you can run it before they'll let you have one. So it's certainly, so as an owner of a franchise, I can leave the business to my children, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they can keep them and run them.
Right.
Because they have to be approved by
McDonald's.
McDonald's.
Have to qualify.
So they can get it from me and then be forced to sell by McDonald's if they do not become approved to be an operator. So they can always have the financial asset, but they can't necessarily keep it going unless they go through the process.
Interesting.
And this is what you do when you have a multi-billion-dollar IP. You protect it, right? You make sure that
Absolutely.
some guy doesn't buy it and doesn't know what he's doing and runs it into the ground, right?
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And it happens a lot of times with widows and widowers as well. The business will transfer to the spouse, and then the spouse can decide, okay, I'm going to run this or I'm going to sell it.
Isn't there a McDonald's Academy in Charlotte?
Hamburger University.
Okay. Is that like the main one or just the East Coast?
So the main one, the real Hamburger University that I went to and graduated with honors, I might add, is in, it used to be right outside of Chicago. Now it is in downtown Chicago, and it is wild. But yes, you have to go to Hamburger University as well.
It's one of my favorite parts of The Founder. I don't know if you've seen it, but is when the guys are making the choreography of how the thing goes through the kitchen and all that kind of stuff.
The test kitchens, that's a real thing. We still have that.
Yeah.
So I guess before we touch on The Founder anymore,
sorry, I
It's a
love
good
movies.
movie.
Give me a
that's
break.
what my opinion. I wanted to know, Brad, what was your opinion of the movie? Is it something that we should be referencing, or is it something that's just like, hey, we don't really talk about that?
Completely false and
we don't really talk about that as an owner of a McDonald's.
From everything I know and everyone I've spoken to and people that knew Ray and Fred Turner, it is wildly accurate.
Wow.
Shockingly accurate.
Well, now I like it even more.
And it's Michael Keaton, man.
Well,
I mean, you
it's
can't
a
go
great
wrong
movie.
with
Yeah.
that.
It's a great movie.
And it's great, and it's just readily available on streaming. It's like you don't have anything else to do for the next 2 hours.
Yeah.
Might as well.
They did
watch
a very good job with that film of kind of showing both the positives and the negatives of the Founder. So
Well, one of the guys we had on last week was a ping pong specialist.
Oh, yeah?
He's ranked number 4 in the state of South Carolina and just represented the U.S. in a ping pong tournament in China. And I asked him about Marty Supreme because that's,
I just saw it. It's fantastic.
I know.
It's fantastic.
He says he loves it.
Yeah.
He just wishes there was more ping pong in it.
Yeah, there's not a lot of ping pong.
A lot of drama.
Yeah.
Not a lot of ping pong.
There's more pool in the game of pool in Color of Money.
Yes, right.
Than there was ping pong in Marty Supreme.
And then when you get those movies that are all about the thing, you lose the narrative part, right? So it's just a movie about the thing, and it's not really about the narrative. So, that's great. Well, look, the idea of running a franchise is still in my mind. As far as like, I'm on a boat, I'm signing papers, but I'm not actually doing stuff in the restaurant.
Exactly. That's why.
Are you doing stuff in the restaurant? Are you still like going to the restaurants? Do they know you? Is this like a...
So they definitely know me. I definitely go to the restaurants, but I've been doing this for a very long time, and it is very much the finish line is what you think it is, which I got to in my mind about 5 years ago, where I don't have to go anywhere or do anything.
Right.
But the starting line is horrible.
Yeah.
Just pure torture.
Yeah.
They're working 100 hours a week. You get the call at 2 a.m. when you've been robbed. You're up there with the police, and it's like that for a long, long time. But yeah, at some point, it does happen.
Yeah.
When you get good people in place.
Yeah.
At some point, one of these days, we'll. I've got good people in place.
So what does the staff look like outside of the restaurant in order to run 15 of them?
So we have a director of operations who's kind of, I guess you would call it the CEO. And then he has supervisors underneath him. Each supervisor has 3 or 4 locations, and each one of those locations has a manager. And so we have our directors, our supervisors, our store managers. Underneath them, we have our area managers and shift managers, like kitchen manager and drive-through manager. And then we have a centralized office where we have somebody who does nothing but handle complaints, somebody who does nothing but handle insurance claims, and then administrative, G&A, payroll stuff.
How does the remodels work? Because you see them coming in and like destroy a whole building, they knock it all down and they build it back up. How's that?
Oh, this one's touchy.
You don't have to reveal anything you don't want to reveal.
Well,
they've just been doing this with Chick-fil-A over the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
the old Chick-fil-A.
The one on Elmwood was
this
just
one right here. It just
destroyed.
shut down a small location, just built a brand new building, right? Like 3 blocks down.
yeah, that one's tough. So there was a time where if you would redo a lobby, it would equate to roughly 25% increase in sales. That time is gone, but we're still doing it. But I think but also to that point, there are, so every franchise structure is different. So a Chick-fil-A versus a Wendy's and a McDonald's, their terms are completely different. You don't even own a Chick-fil-A, really. You just a very highly paid employee, and God bless it. That's a great thing to do. But in our business, I think one of the things that has helped us be successful for so long is because unlike some franchises, or like I'll use Holiday Inn, for example. Holiday Inn used to be the hotel. It was the place. But then they never upfitted, they never improved their rooms, and Holiday Inn kind of, it's a little bit back now, but that was the problem, is they weren't reinvesting. So McDonald's does a very good job, and maybe too good of a job of making us reinvest in our infrastructure.
Okay. Is that where the double drive-through came in? You now have every McDonald's has a double drive-through.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's.
Do you see actual efficiency there?
There is tremendous efficiency there, and that's what we're all about. I mean, really, we sell good food fast, so we're trying to sell quality at a value and sell it quickly. We're all about convenience. So I was there when it was cash to credit cards. That was the big jump, was moving from cash to credit cards. And then when people started using credit cards, we got so much faster because you're not pulling change out of your car anymore. And then we went from the single drive-through to the double drive-through. Then we went to the kiosk. Now we're in digital with the app. And so all of that has raised our sales volume steadily over the past 20 years. Just those adding those conveniences to the customer.
Being more
I
efficient.
mean, the last time I was in there, you don't even order from a person. You just go to the screen that's on the counter.
Yeah, that one's touchy too.
I mean,
I
it's just
get both sides of it. You know, some people don't want to see somebody. Some people want a smiling face. So I understand both sides of it.
It's interesting. It's like the grocery store self-checkout. Like some people are like, I'm not checking out my own groceries. And I'm like, dude, if it gets me out of there 25 seconds faster, I'm going to do that every single time. What I'm looking forward to is the day when you walk in and the app registers that you're in the grocery store or you're in the McDonald's.
That's the Amazon market.
You're 1 year away theoretically from that.
Where I go up and I say, you know, whatever it is, I order it either on my phone or I order it on the kiosk. But like
they already know
I don't
what
even
you're
have to
gonna
put
order.
payment in there. It just knows to charge it to my account, you know. And
They get a computer alert. Bill is in the building. And
Yep.
his order just pops up because they already know. I get the same thing every
Bill
time.
normally
I go.
gets a quarter pounder with cheese and a Coke, right? And so
I think that you're going to see that very quick. I think that's where the whole industry is going, where if you use an application for a Starbucks or a McDonald's or whatever it is and you have a usual order, we have our outdoor digital menu board. So the goal is, and I think we'll be there very soon, and a lot of people will, is when you pull up, it'll know you have that app and what your normal order is, and it'll only populate the menu board with the things that you like.
Right. Okay. Interesting.
As you drive in.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I was in Seattle. I went to the Mariners game, and they had a food store inside the stadium that you just walk in, you buy whatever you pick up whatever you want, and you walk out, and it automatically knows what you got and how much and it charges it to your credit card.
Yeah.
That's cool. I mean,
Because it's all connected through Amazon.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's pluses and minuses to that. And I think, you know, what's interesting is like, and I hate to always be the movie guy, but like Back to the Future, you know, 2, right, where they have the 50s throwback diner, you know. I feel like that's one of the things that's going to happen is that everything's going to get so futuristic, and then people are going to look forward to signing a check or, you know, like
they're doing that with a little bit of Pizza Hut.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Pizza Hut is bringing
the
back
retro dining rooms.
I love
yes.
that.
They're bringing back the retro dining rooms.
I miss it so much. I miss that lunch buffet, man.
Oh, yeah.
We would go to that lunch buffet if they had it, you know, and they had the apple pizza on the lunch buffet.
Playing Donkey Kong while you're waiting.
Donkey
for the
Kong
table.
on the table?
Absolutely.
Oh, man.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
Nostalgia's big. We hit that a little bit with the Grimace and the
Grimace Shake.
We've done a
all
little
that.
bit of that. That was really successful. So I'm with you there on both Pizza Hut and Back to the Future.
So what got you into bourbon?
So, I've always enjoyed bourbon tremendously, and it was a bit of happenstance where there were 4 partners here in Columbia who had started a bourbon company, and they were just getting going, and I was just strangely at a dinner one evening with one of these gentlemen, and he was telling me the story and about the bourbon, and I said, well, I like bourbon, can I taste it? And just like any of us would do, when somebody says they're doing that, they're like, well, can I be involved in that? And he laughed me off, and that was the response I expected. But sure enough, he called me a week later, and he and the partners had discussed it, and they asked me if I would like to be a part of it, and I said, tell me where to sign. And next thing you know, we, a couple of years later, we have a bourbon that is on the shelves that you could buy at liquor stores in 22 states right now. And
Wow.
What's the name of it?
it's called Forbidden Bourbon.
Okay. This is Bruce, wherever you are. Forbidden Bourbon. Look that up. I have a neighbor who's really into it. So he's got 100 bottles of bourbon in his office.
Well, I hope he has one of ours.
I don't know. I'll have to ask. Yeah.
And that's been a wild journey as well, because a completely different business.
Yeah.
So very different.
From McDonald's?
Oh, yeah.
I imagine. Yeah.
Very
That's-
fun.
What's something you've learned in that business in comparison to what you normally do?
So my business, or my normal business, even though it's McDonald's and it's fast food, when you go to a meeting, you need to know your stuff. You need to know what your sales volume sales volume is, your transaction count, average check volume, all the nitty-gritty, the details.
Yeah.
Apparently, when you're in the alcohol business, they don't want to hear about any of that. It's more about relationships. You're already in the door because they know you have a good product. So it's more about is this a person I want to deal with? Is this a guy I want to have, or a woman that I want to have 1 or 2 beers with, or 3? And if it is, then we can do business. And if it's not, I don't think this is going to work out, which is very odd. How very relationship focused the alcohol industry is. And it's not all about, consuming it and, getting hammered with everybody, but just dealing with people that you want to deal with seems to be the highest commodity in the alcohol business.
I guess it is a social engine, though.
It has to be. That's only reason to do it, right? I mean, granted, you'll sit and have a bourbon while you're watching a football game or something, probably. But yeah, I mean, I only get so my neighbor and two of my neighbors both are very into bourbon. I don't like it, so we don't. But they go to parties at friends' houses where they bring out a bunch of bottles and everybody picks something and buys it or whatever. They're on these auction sites where they get to buy the bourbon on auctions and all this stuff.
It's a whole community.
It's amazing.
It's tremendous. It's been a real journey. I go up to Kentucky quite often where we're distilled and ricked at, and it's been a very fun. Even though I'm still primarily McDonald's, it's been a very fun second act and exciting to learn a new business and a new industry, and I know more about bourbon than I ever thought I would.
Yeah.
So then, since I don't drink at all, and I don't know what bourbon tastes like, never had it.
It tastes like if you mix jet fuel and poison.
Yeah, but there's different variations on the balance.
Like different jet fuel, different amounts of arsenic that they put in it.
Yeah.
So, but is bourbon whiskey and whiskey is bourbon, or am I off on that?
All bourbon is whiskey, but whiskey is not bourbon. To be bourbon, you have to be. It has to age for 4 years.
Okay.
It has to be put into a fresh, never used oak barrel, and it doesn't have to be made in Kentucky, but it mostly is. But there are very specific rules and laws around using the term bourbon. So you cannot use the word bourbon on your bottle unless it is adhered to certain things.
And whiskey is a high level, so whiskey is the type of liquor it is, and then bourbon is the type of whiskey it is.
Correct.
Okay. So you have Scotch whiskey, you have bourbon whiskey, and you have Irish whiskey and rye whiskey and all of these different things, but it's all a type of whiskey. Yeah.
And all of those types could be a bourbon,
right?
If they're done in this way.
Yeah.
Nice. Who makes the barrels? Because that might be.
I tell you what, that's the business to be in.
That's what I'm talking about.
The cooperage business is booming. So all these barrels that have to be brand new to be a bourbon, we only get to use them once.
Yeah.
So there are tremendous, multi-$100 million businesses that will purchase our barrels from us and then sell them in Europe to wines and vineyards and
beers
Scotch,
made in it.
beer, everything.
Cigars are aged in them. There's all kinds of things that happen to them.
Yeah, we're the front of the funnel on that one.
Because if bourbon sits in a barrel for 4 years, you can imagine what happens to the barrel.
Sure.
Right. I mean, it gets very seasoned. Right. So you can do all kinds of interesting things with it once it gets done. So
absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I think it's funny what you said is really interesting. Your friends were talking about they had a bourbon company. And you're just like, well, naturally, I wanted to get involved in it.
Yeah,
naturally. Why wouldn't I get involved in it?
Who's not going to ask for that?
Like, I don't know that that's natural for me.
Oh, really?
No, I don't think. I mean, I don't know. Maybe want to get involved. I don't know. But I mean, like if I'm a cigar smoker. So like if 3 or 4 friends were like, hey, we should make a cigar. I'd be like, well, good luck with that. Let me know when you get it. When you get it done, give me one. I'm not even going to buy one from you, but give me one, So
I would totally think that.
What is the mindset of, obviously I want to get involved in that. Where does that mindset come from to say, this is what I want to be involved in and I'm actually going to do it?
I think it, it probably goes back to my father and my brother and I just being just natural risk takers and having that entrepreneurial mindset of just maybe not even, I processed it before I signed the paperwork.
Oh, of course, yeah.
I didn't process it.
Due diligence, right?
I did the due diligence at the end, but
yeah.
But I wasn't really thinking it through when I said it. It was just like, that sounds right. I I want to be a part of that.
Interesting.
And it was easy to ask, and it was easy to say yes. Did the due diligence afterwards, and a big part of it was that I knew some of the guys that were involved. I knew their stories, and so 90% of the vetting was already done. So if these gentlemen think that this is a good idea, then I would be lucky to be a part of it. And
imagine also you had the cushion of the McDonald's.
a lot of cushion,
Right? So that probably helps, right? That's probably why I wouldn't get involved in it, because there's very little cushion left. You know, if I got into a bourbon company, that's all I'd do, right? You know, so
I still think our 20-year plan needs to be to franchise this.
yeah, of course. I mean, podcast franchise.
if I could just put them together, burgers and bourbon. If I could figure that out, get some synergy there.
So, do you know Christian Niemi?
I do not.
That owns bourbon on Main Street.
Oh yes, I
Yeah.
do. Yes.
So Christian, the only time I've ever had bourbon on a relatively regular basis is Christian offered a bourbon, beer, and burger special at 3 p.m. on, I think, Thursdays or something. And we would walk up from SoCo and everybody would get it. And I would get it because I was with the crowd. And I'd be like, all right, here we go. Take a shot of bourbon, and I'd do it. But that was such a great social experience,
Absolutely.
to have a burger and a shot of bourbon with your friends,
And he's a very nice guy. I didn't.
Christian's
pick it
great,
up.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
he's a very social fellow.
Yeah,
Yes.
no, he's awesome. He's been on our podcast, and he's one of my favorite people in Columbia. But when he was talking about starting bourbon, this would have been 2012 or 13, I guess, something like that. I was like, really? Like the whole thing is going to be centered around that? Like, I didn't have any idea that there was this subculture. And he was seeing the subculture in other states, and bringing it to Columbia in a lot of ways,
Yeah.
And so
they're fanatical, just like the Marvel Comic-Con guys are.
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
There's a lot.
There's probably some crossover there.
that's probably a
There
lot of
probably
crossover
is.
there. Yeah.
It was surprising to me. I was kind of getting wind of it when I wanted to get involved, but I had no idea of all the, like you said, all the dinners and the clubs and
Yeah.
the trading.
Is the tequila market the same way? Because I felt
Yep.
like a lot of celebrities everyone's got a tequila line.
So
10 years ago, that's when that
I think that from my experience, I'm not necessarily the expert, but I've been around a lot of this for a while now. I think there's that kind of group in pretty much everything except for vodka, just because all vodkas are kind of the same. I don't want to disparage on vodka. I really like vodka. And
Well, it's relatively kind of flat flavor
Yes,
profile
yes.
wise versus the others,
Yes.
Yeah. Keith with Zero Gravity, he is a worldwide expert on tequila. He goes around the whole country judging tequila like contests and different things like that. And he's famous in that area, tequila drinking and tasting and all that stuff. So,
Well, it is fascinating once you get a taste for jet fuel.
yeah, yeah.
You can begin.
That's what they tell me. Yeah.
You can begin to decipher the difference.
Right.
And
right. You can see the little subtleties.
You can.
Yeah.
You can. And it is an interesting thing to do, just like wine. I'll never forget probably the most interesting thing that I learned right at the beginning when I went to the distillery, and they walked me through the process, and they gave me the white dog, which is before it goes into the barrels and gets its color and flavoring. You would pour it in your hands, and you would just rub your hands on it, and they'd make you smell your hands, and you would think that it would smell like rubbing alcohol, but it smelled just 100% like corn.
Huh. Weird.
That's all you could smell was the corn, and then you would try different ones, and you could smell the yellow corn and the white corn.
Whoa.
So that was at the beginning of the process. I was like, wow, I had no idea that it was so corn forward. But just little things like that along the way are very interesting.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what does the future look like? I mean, do you feel like you're going to move into bourbon more and let somebody else handle the McDonald's stuff, or is this kind of running itself to a point that you can keep it going?
Dads are great for dropping nuggets of wisdom as you go along. And I waited until I've been doing McDonald's for 20 years. I've never done any major business outside of McDonald's till I began this or got involved in this. and it was always because my father said, if you got a trumpet and when you play it, money comes out, don't start trying to play a tuba.
Yeah, of course.
So I always kept that in the back of my head. So I'm going to keep playing the trumpet, and but I'll a little tuba every once in a while.
Yeah.
Or the tuba could cost money. Who knows?
And then it might start spitting money out.
It
Play
might.
both.
You never know.
Then you can.
Then you start a one-man band.
That's right.
But definitely acquiring more locations McDonald's locations would be my primary thing. But,
Right.
But I'm very involved with the bourbon as well, and that is it started out as a fun thing, but now it's a real business, so it's getting a lot more of my time.
Well, I have a sad McDonald's story. I stopped eating McDonald's in 2014 or so because of Super Size Me.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll get you.
Yeah.
That'll get you.
And then one of the revelations when Morgan Spurlock died last year was that none of that was real. That he was suffering from alcoholism related illness while he was filming Super Size Me, and
getting his blood taken with
all
the
of the effects that he attributed to the McDonald's were all attributed to his alcoholism.
Jeez.
Yeah,
That's why
my whole life is a lie.
You can't trust documentaries.
Yeah, my whole life is a lie.
And there's so much that goes along with that. McDonald's gets a lot of because we're the biggest, we get a lot of bad press and a lot of times outright untruths. Like I don't know if you remember that whole pink slime thing for the nuggets. That was never McDonald's.
Right.
That we can't get away with that.
Right.
Like, McDonald's is white chicken, but those dino nuggies we all feed our children.
Yeah.
That's the pink slime.
The freezer stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of that stuff that you hear is not accurate because you wouldn't be able to get away with it. So that's not great. But I always say to everybody, I would be happier if everybody came once a week instead of a select few people coming every day of the week.
Yeah.
So it should be a treat. That's how I view it. It's America. You should be able to enjoy it. I would not do like he did and eat it every time.
Well, then the supersize every time they ask him if he wanted to supersize on, but you can't do that anymore.
I
Obviously,
know that killed that. He ruined that for everybody.
What did you think about the CEO of McDonald's?
The arch! Oh my God, the big arch
the
thing.
burger and he doesn't take a big bite of it and gets roasted.
I have my thoughts on that.
So I was just at the McDonald's Worldwide Convention in Las Vegas, which is a tremendous event, and all the operators from all over the world come in, and good for him. He had a sense of humor about it. It was in his opening speech, and he's like, "I know, next time, bigger bite." So I thought it was kind of. Yeah, you should take a bigger bite. I get it, but he gets it too. So I'm glad that he understands as well, and that was funny. I mean, it didn't look like he enjoyed it.
Well, I think we got time for one more story.
Yeah, one more story. Yeah,
about why you can't tell people about what you do.
I definitely cannot tell people what I do. I've learned this the hard way over the years, and I am proud of what I do. I'm happy to talk about it. Happy to be here talking about it, but. You can't. If someone asks me what I do, I don't say I own McDonald's because the first thing that they say is, I was at this McDonald's the other day it was terrible. Let me tell you all about it. And I'm talking 99%. The first thing, it's like if you said, "What do you do?" and somebody said, "I'm a doctor." Well, this doctor in 2 states away from here killed this guy. That's not the first thing you should say.
And you go, "Is that what you do?
Yeah,
do you kill guys?
You kill people too, like 'cause this other guy kills people. Is that what you do?"
Yeah.
So it's just not a good way to start a conversation. So I would tell people that I own restaurants, and then they would inevitably,
Which one?
And then so this is my favorite lie. So if they do get to the point where they find out what I do, and they always set it up like this: "Do you own that one here?"
Yeah.
And I already know that it's a bad story. So I always say, "I do not. Tell me all about what happened." And then they'll tell me the terrible story. "Yeah, it's not mine. Sorry. I don't even know that guy."
So I'll report it to corporate.
I'll send that up the ladder.
Yeah.
See if we can't handle that.
I'll send it up to Ronald to see if he can handle it.
So that's unfortunately why I have to be a little misleading.
You can understand that. That's understandable.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's it's funny, you know, a lot, because I guess the way I've always been fascinated with franchises is because, you know, I didn't prioritize making money first. You know what I mean? Like say, this is going to get me to a point where I can go get on a boat and sign papers, right? And, you know, but I said, I just like doing this thing. I think I'm good enough at it to do it full time. And that was really the only thought process I had. I wasn't looking at it. I'm assuming, looking at the bourbon company, that's probably a little bit more where do you have creative input on that? Is there
I do.
Know,
so, and
no creative input on the McDonald's, I imagine.
No, and I did not get into McDonald's to make money either.
Oh, really? Okay.
Oh, no,
Interesting.
not at all. We were destitute.
Wow.
When my father had 3 McDonald's, we were, you know, renting a 1,500 square foot house with mice in it. Like there was never any
interesting.
Oh, this is gonna pay off scenario.
Yeah.
So we were. My mom would come home and cry every night.
Wow.
Because she was working in the drive-thru. I was 14. I was unloading the trucks. My father would sometimes work so hard he'd come home and lay down and not get up for 2 days. I mean, it was terrible.
So it was a family business kind of restaurant.
Yes, because it's so expensive to get into, and you really can't do well financially with one, and you especially can't do well financially with one for 7 years, because when you get a franchise like McDonald's, they put you on a 7-year note. So theoretically, let's say the McDonald's is clearing $25,000 a month, your debt service is $25,000.
Wow.
So my first restaurant that I had, I think I made $5,000 that year.
Man.
Total. And so so I had no idea that money could even be made doing McDonald's.
Yeah.
It was more about, I don't want to work for anyone else.
Sure.
And it's all I know, and I think I could be good at it. And then it wasn't, so I think right when I got in, my father was 1 year away from paying off his first 7-year note. Mm-hmm. And then once those notes start falling, then, okay.
Yeah. Then you can start to clear it.
And the advantage that I had that my father did not have, because my father was my age at the time, is I was so young. I didn't have a boat, I didn't have a car, I didn't have kids, I wasn't married. I could rent, so I could buy as many McDonald's as I wanted, and say, "Listen, I can make $1,000 a year on this, or $5,000 a year. I don't have to make money for a long time." And then it just kind of happened.
Well, I just didn't know. I would assume that
Mm-hmm.
you know that was it would be I guess because of how busy we assume McDonald's are and how much money you run through a McDonald's.
Sure.
You know,
well, if you see
would
the
make that
founder,
assumption.
they get their cut.
Of course.
They get whether I make 1,000 or negative 100, they get their 14% off the top line.
Right. Off of gross.
Yeah, so they're making their money. But
wow.
So I'm with you on your point. That's how I got into the McDonald's. I was more so looking at the bourbon as the second thing. Wow, maybe I could make some money with this.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
So McDonald's was never the way to riches in my mind, but it just, fortunately kind of did okay.
Worked out. And I guess probably it's easier to make with 15 than it is with 1, right?
There are economies of scale. And again, that was I was very good but lucky. So right when I got in in the mid 2000s, everybody was who owned a McDonald's had gotten it in the 1950s and 60s.
Wow.
And so the only way you can get a McDonald's, they're not building anymore.
Mm-hmm.
The only way you can get one is if a guy says, "I'm going to sell it to you."
Mm-hmm.
So, and nobody sells them. I'm not selling mine.
Right.
So I was just really lucky that right there in that slice of time,
this is a sweet spot.
That was a sweet spot
Mm-hmm.
where everybody was retiring. They were all 60 and 70. And, you could have, if you got in tomorrow, you might wait 10 years to get a store before you get to that sweet spot.
Yeah. Wow.
That's
awesome.
very cool.
Yeah. What a cool story. That's really fun. I don't think I've ever talked to anybody that has franchises like that. I mean, I've always had it.
Certainly not franchises on scale.
Yeah, I've always romanticized it in my head, but I've never actually met anybody that has franchises. So.
Well, that's why I wanted to have Brad on the podcast.
Yeah, it's okay.
Thank you so much for being here.
I'd love to talk about it.
We
Thanks for
finish
having
up
me.
every podcast with our 5 favorite questions.
Okay.
So rapid fire as fast as you can think of. What's your favorite movie?
Oh, that's the Godfather. Fine. I know that's what everybody says.
Yeah, that's cool.
Godfather, nice. All right. What's your favorite book?
The Firm.
Oh, nice.
Cool.
Grisham.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's one of my favorites. What is your favorite thing to eat at McDonald's?
Fish fillet.
Fish fillet. Okay. With
all
the
brothers
cheese.
go to.
I've never seen anybody else in the world put cheese on a fish sandwich. but-
It's a hack. They're always fresh. They're made to order.
yeah.
So, and
Nice.
if you get bold, surf and turf.
Okay.
Quarter pounder with a fish fillet.
Okay. Okay. Right. I'll have to tell my wife about that one. Yeah. That's awesome. What about TV show?
TV show all time?
Yeah.
Yeah, whenever.
Ooh, wow. Can I say the first 7.5 seasons of Game of Thrones?
Sure.
Okay.
7.5.
Yeah.
It's made it all the way through half season.
Right
half of
when
the
they
seventh
get
season.
right when they get killed the Night King. Let's
Yeah.
just stop it right there.
Okay.
No more episodes.
Gotcha. There's too many spinoffs now. I can't follow what family we're talking about
Yeah.
anymore. There's so many names, and they all sound the same. And now the House of the Dragon, they all have blonde hair, so I can't tell them
Yeah.
apart. You know, it's like it's too much for my brain.
Well,
So-
they went off the rails. They jumped the shark
Yeah.
halfway through the last season.
Yeah. That makes sense. All right, last one is what would your last meal be on death row?
Last meal on death row would be some sort of huge bowl of white cream pasta.
Oh, nice.
nice. Okay.
Okay.
Some sort of carbonara.
Yeah.
Or fettuccine alfredo, I think. Just really, I want to feel it in the jugular.
Listen, my favorite Italian meal is carbonara, 100%.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
I'm with you on
so,
that.
you know, it's just very special. It's just not something I can eat very often.
Right.
And you can't find guanciale anywhere, so that's the other problem. Publix doesn't have it, so like you know.
It's a good way to go out, probably.
Yeah, big bowl too.
Big
so
bowl.
it takes a long time
Big
to
bowl,
get to.
yeah.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks, Brad. This was awesome. Good to get to know you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys for having me.
Keep tuning in and be sure to like and subscribe.
We'll see you next time.